Now, as India has crossed the 10 lakh mark in fast COVID cases are concerned, many states are now going back to the lockdown mode. Let me bring in my colleague Avni for further understanding on this to find out which of the states have gone into the lockdown mode again. Avni?
Well, that's right. This is, of course, a very concerning situation that we are today seeing because, like you pointed out, we have crossed that 10 lakh mark at this point in time. But at the same time, there are several states which are now once again seeing a spike in COVID cases. So you have some states where the focus has shifted from one part of the state to the other part of the state where we're seeing a spike in cases. And you have some states which earlier were setting an example in Karnataka, for example, city like Bengaluru. And now there itself, we're seeing a massive rise in cases. So several of them have gone into lockdown mode. So just to take you through some of those states, for example, Maharashtra, like we've been pointing out all this time, we've seen lockdown come back into several of the satellite towns, the greater Mumbai area really. So we're talking about Thane, Kalyan-Dombivli, Mira Bhayandar, Pune, Raichur. All of these areas have gone back into lockdown mode, dealing with issues like not enough medical infrastructure along with a spike in COVID cases. Then in Karnataka, the other state that I was also pointing out, Bengaluru, you have a lockdown until the 22nd of July. And now, in fact, there has been a proposal to extend that lockdown in Bengaluru. And of course, areas such as Hubli, Dharwad, Raichur, Kalburgi, all of them are in lockdown at this point in time. So that's as far as Karnataka is concerned. Meanwhile, Kerala, of course, which has been a model state through this entire pandemic, but at this point in time, once again, is seeing a resurgence of some sorts in terms of the number of COVID cases. So you've got Thiruvananthapuram, Ernakulam, Kozhikode, all those areas which have gone back into lockdown mode until the 23rd of July. In West Bengal, meanwhile, once again, we've seen a spike in cases of coronavirus. So Kolkata, Jalpaiguri, Malda, Kuch Bihar are among the areas which have gone back into lockdown mode in West Bengal as well. Jammu Kashmir, you've got a whole host of areas, including Srinagar and Budgam, Kupwara, which have all gone back into lockdown mode. All of that until the 25th of July. So complete lockdown in all of these areas. Meanwhile, even in Arunachal Pradesh, in Itanagar especially, there's a lockdown until the 20th of July. In Bihar, the entire state, the urban areas, the cities have all gone back into lockdown mode until the 31st of July after the spike in COVID cases that has been seen. Jharkhand as well, Hazaribagh and Chatra has all seen a lockdown until the 22nd of July. Madhya Pradesh as well, you've got Gwalior, which has gone back into lockdown until the 21st of July. And recently, in fact, just yesterday, Odisha announced going back into lockdown mode in several areas like Cuttack, Jajpur, Rourkela, all of them going back into lockdown mode till the 31st of July. So what we are seeing here is many of these states taking that decision to go back into lockdown mode. And this, in fact, is quite concerning because we've already seen a 3-month lockdown practically, and now there is a need to reopen the economy. All the arrangements, the medical infrastructure, all of that should have been dealt with in the last 3 months, but obviously that's not the case, as many of these states are seeing. And now that there is once again a resurgence of COVID cases, they are all forced to go back into lockdown mode. So we'll of course have to wait and see how much of these, lockdown of a few days is actually going to help solve the root cause of the problem, which is the preparedness angle at this point in time.
All right, Avni, many thanks for joining us and giving us all those updates.